Hello, everybody. This is a Lamley showcase back in the Lamley studio to give you part two of the Hot Wheels One Hit Wonder series. We did part one a few weeks ago, and after doing research on other one hit wonders from Hot Wheels in the last 15 to 20 years, we definitely had enough very cool licensed models to give you a part two, which I'm going to do tonight. And I think there's enough to even do a part three, which we'll do in the not too distant future. But back to part one. You guys gave me great feedback. You loved the video. I loved doing it. It was so interesting to go in, kind of see some of these cool models that have come and gone so quickly. Many of you, it was first to see them. You'd never seen them before. I know many of you went out and actually tried to snag a few of these. Some of you were successful in getting a few. I don't have all of them in front of me right now, but I mean, some of them, like the quirky Mustang, the very cool Ferrari, even this RWC, RLC Porsche, which is amazing. I have no idea why I haven't seen that one anymore. Just a lot of really cool, unique, interesting models that have only been seen once in the Hot Wheels world. Great feedback from you guys, and here's something very cool. I am going to give all of these away this Saturday. You guys have wanted giveaways, and I have finally found the best way to do it. I have partnered up with the Whatnot app. Some of you might be familiar with Whatnot, WHATNOT. It's a live stream selling service, a lot of collectibles on there, well beyond diecast. But I've entered in a partnership so I can start doing giveaways over there. And I'm going to give away all 10 of these one-hit wonders. I have them packaged. So like the Audi TT, the Maserati, some of these other models that we've showcased in the past, or showcased in part one, I've got them all. And I'm going to be giving them all away. So what you need to do is go down into the video description, and you need to follow the link to sign up for the Whatnot app if you haven't signed up yet, and then just follow Lamley Group. When you do, you will see a scheduled giveaway for 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Pacific this Saturday, November 19th. And all you have to do is be signed up on the app and be there live. You'll see how the giveaway works. All you have to do is tap a button to enter the giveaway. That's all you have to do. There's no other commitment other than be on the app and be watching, and I will draw winners from each one of these, and it's insane. If you remember the models that were there, I think the total of these models goes somewhere between $750 and $1,000, and I'm going to give it all away. This is going to be so fun. I cannot wait to do this Saturday, November 19th, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. All you have to do is be watching, and you can be watching this. Now, I really like the Whatnot app, and like I said, you guys have been asking for giveaways. It's the best way to do it, and I will always announce them because I'm going to be doing a lot of giveaways over there. And I have a lot of cool stuff, and I can't tell you. There's some things being planned that are insane, but I can't give you any details yet. You want to be a member there, and I think the app is very, very cool. I love what they do. I think it's really good for the hobby. And more on that later, but definitely be there this Saturday. But if you're watching this video after November 19th, just know, go sign up for the app anyway, because I'll be doing other giveaways. Let's get to it. Part two. Like I said, I did some research. Now, it's very interesting. I tried to do cars, like I said, they're cars that have been in premium, basic, models that have shown up once and then gone. Now, the one qualification that I give on this is that some of them had recolors, but it has to be in that series. So, for example, like the Audi TT from the first one was in Speed Machines and there were 3 colors, but I feel like that's a valid one-hit wonder because it was just Speed Machines and we've never seen it since. I'm doing 10 more models, but there's going to be a few more because there's some, like this Hummer H1 from Fast and Furious, that I'm surprised we haven't seen since, but I don't know if it's been long enough for us to really consider it a one-hit wonder. But there were some of these that were they're just so in between that I really didn't know. So I thought this Hummer H1 would be one that I could maybe be on there, but I would not be surprised if we see it show up. We're seeing Fast and Furious return with a new movie coming out. So it might be something that we might see in the future. That same goes for 2 Hot Wheels ID models. Now, we have seen a few that showed up in Hot Wheels ID that we haven't seen since, but they are trickling into the basic range and some other things. But I've seen no sign of these next 2. And so these I think might be able to consider one-hit wonders, and it starts with this one. This is the BMW i8 Roadster. It has no roof on it, so that's what makes it a little bit different from the Matchbox i8 that we've seen both in opening parts and in basic. But this one was more early. We never saw a recolor in Hot Wheels ID, and I haven't seen any talk of this thing appearing. It's cool casting. It seems a little short and stubby for me, like from like how I think of an i8. I understand it's a difficult casting, but I mean, it might be cool to show up again in a, like either a premium range or even a basic range, like many of the ID castings have, like the Corvette, C8, things like that. But this one we haven't seen. The other one we haven't seen that was early in the run from Hot Wheels ID is this one. And I saw many of you mention this when I was doing the one-hit wonders from part one. A lot of people commented on where did the Jag go? This is the Jaguar I-Pace E-Trophy. We've seen a lot of Jags in the basic range. I think we've seen a couple in premium. But this one is a really, really cool model. As much as I was kind of iffy on the i8 casting, this thing is awesome. I love it from the front and the back. I love the back spoiler. I like how it's proportioned. It's kind of a big casting. Something that I really like the deco on it. I like the teal color on it. Everything is cool about this one, and it seems like it would be a great basic model. Maybe it's got too much metal. Maybe it's too big, and that's why we haven't seen it. But I wonder if we'll see a place for it at some point. But it's already been enough time, a few years, that right now this one falls solidly in that one-hit wonder category. Another one that I have to think we're going to see maybe released soon, but there's been no sign. What happened to this one? This is the Bugatti Veyron. This is the updated Bugatti Veyron. They had done kind of, I guess you'd call it the concept. It was really ugly casting. Think about the Speed Machines. That was released a few times, and then that casting was retired, and then we saw the Bugatti Chiron come back, and all of a sudden in this kind of like, what was it, kind of like a special Walmart special set that I actually never saw in stores, but we did feature here on the Lamley channel, had this updated Bugatti Veyron. It's a fantastic casting. It's far better than the first. And we saw it in that series, and we have not seen it since. I don't know if this was considered a new casting when they put it together. It really is different than the old one, like I said. But it's been, what, 2.5 years? I don't know if this is, it seems like it'd be an easy basic model to do. And maybe we will see it in 2023. But right now, I consider that a one-hit wonder. All right. Those are kind of the iffy ones. Now let's get into some that really truly have come and gone. And we start with this. From the premium range, this was released in Car Culture in the Silhouette, same as the RWB Porsche. This is the Nissan Skyline Silhouette is what the official name is. Nissan Skyline Silhouette. This is the R30. Obviously the Liberty Walk R34 that we have seen released here in 2022 was basically done by Liberty Walk, the real car, as an homage to the R30 silhouettes. This casting, was based on the Paul Newman race car, the number 25. It's just vanished. We have not seen it since, and I'm a little bit surprised, to be perfectly honest, because while it's a cool car, I mean, I don't know. Here's the thought. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. The car that it's actually replicating is an incredibly cool car. We know this because of how popular the R34 Liberty Walk is. But this silhouette, which is based on the mid-'80s car, it's just not a great casting. It just seems like it was put together too quickly. It sits too high. Yeah, it's a wide car in general, so some of the details are fine, but it's just a little off. The way it sits, the way some of the details, it seems a little simplistic. It just doesn't seem like the same thought that many of the premium castings have had. It just doesn't seem like it's got the same vibe. And I wonder I don't know why Hot Wheels hasn't used it since, but I don't know if Nissan didn't like it. I don't know if Hot Wheels doesn't like it and they're wondering if they just need to clean it up. But it's just, there's been very few swings and misses in car culture and the new models, but this is definitely one of them, that Nissan Skyline. So maybe that's why, but I don't know why we haven't seen it again. It seems like it would be a no-brainer in upcoming lines, and maybe we will see it. Here's another one. This one kind of makes a lot of sense. This is the Roadkill Z. What was it called? The Rotson, right? The Roadkill Rotson from the Motor Trend series. Now, I don't expect to see this Roadkill version per se. I mean, it was done in a certain way, right? To be based on the Roadkill Rotson, if you're familiar with it, with the exposed engine and the rust look. But the casting itself, it seems like the other 280Z or 240Z that was done by Phil Reelman for many, many years, many years ago, has the large wheel in the back, small in the front. It's kind of a old school Hot Wheels style. It seems like this casting is so clean and very much based on a stock Datsun outside of the obvious details, that it seems like this is a casting that could have been easily converted into a very cool stock looking premium 240Z, and we haven't seen it since. Now, replicated as a Roadkill, we don't need it again. We got it once. But modified into a stock Z, I don't know why we haven't seen it. And if we did, I wouldn't consider this a one-hit wonder anymore because all the other details are there on this one. But it is clearly a one-hit wonder. It was a mail-in option for Motor Trend subscribers. I think it was for their online subscription. And yeah, it's come and it has gone, but I hope to see it return. All right, next one. This is easy. We did the Ferrari California from part one, but there was, and that one was basically, you know, it was the Ferris Bueller Ferrari. It came, then Hot Wheels lost the license and we never saw a replica of it or another version of it again. There was one other Ferrari that was in the same boat. I'm sure you're already thinking of it. And it's this one. The La Ferrari in basic. I can't remember what year this was, maybe 2012, 2013. But Hot Wheels was still doing Ferraris. This was the last one they did. I think the FF was right before it. I think there was the Berlinetta that was close before that. But this one was only done once and Hot Wheels lost that license and they never had enough time to make another version. They did do a recolor. Some of you might be thinking, oh, but I know there was the silver one. There was, but these were both of the same year. This was just a recolor of the red version, but that Ferrari La Ferrari came and went. And for obvious reasons, they didn't have the license. We've only seen that once. Here's another one that doesn't make any sense that we haven't seen it since. This was also done in several colors. I only have one version of it, but it was done in several colors in the same line. It's the Aston Martin Zagato, the DB4 Zagato, GT Zagato. This particular one is the Chase. So back in the Hot Wheels Classics, it was a line that I didn't care too much about, but it was kind of middle premium, meaning it had a metal chassis, plastic wheels, and this kind of Spectraflame paint that's similar to what we see on Super Treasure Hunts now. And they did a wide variety of castings and some new castings, including this Aston Martin, which is cool. I don't know why we haven't seen it since. We've seen a lot of the classic Aston Martins, but we've only seen this one. It was done, I think, in red and in blue in a regular version, and they did these chases with real riders on it. And if you look at it, it's cool. It's classic. I don't know, again, if there were issues with the license, if there were issues with, Aston Martin didn't like it for whatever reason. But I think this is a cool car that would definitely fit in some sort of premium line, including Car Culture and some sort of classic British line. But that tool has to be gone because it's been, about maybe 14, 15 years, I think, since they did the classics. And it is long, long gone. Okay, another one from Premium. How many do we have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still. So I showed you those first 3, but these are legitimate one-hit wonders. How about the Nissan Vision GT? Is that what it's called? Vision Concept 2020. So Nissan Concept 2020 Vision GT. This was a concept car that I don't know if ever was really made into anything. I think it was kind of wasn't this done for Gran Turismo, where they had car makers make these kind of concept cars? This was loosely based on the Nissan GTR. It was basically what a futuristic Nissan GTR would look like based on their concepts. And they did this one for Hot Wheels Entertainment, right? But again, one color, and we've never seen it since. I don't know if we miss it. I don't know if it's something that anyone really wants to see again. It's kind of it's a cool replica of an interesting concept, but I don't think we need to see it again. So this is one that I know is a one-hit wonder, but that might be it because there just may not be any more demand for it. Kind of interesting, but it's a concept. It looks weird. And that definitely leads to one of the more famous one-hit wonders, one of the most unique Hot Wheels to be released in the last, 20 years or so. I'm wondering if some of you have thought of it. Yeah, some of you have. It's an Alfa Romeo, and it looks like nothing you've ever seen. This is the BAT. I'm assuming you call it the BAT. It's the BATS, or no, BAT9. I'm looking at the base here. This is a concept car. I don't know the full history. I've looked it up in the past, but this was released, I think, around 2007, 2006 by Hot Wheels. It came out of the blue, surprised collectors back then, and I have to think, if you look at it now, it still would surprise you. This thing's interesting. Metal chassis, metal body. It's got the those kind of thin wheels. It's got this very interesting, obviously the Alfa Romeo grille on the front. They made the headlights part of the window piece. It's got these weird wings on it. It was just something that's totally that, back in the 60s. I don't even know what year this was even made, the actual car, but something that how they imagined the future to be. And it's totally unique. It's totally cool. It is a very interesting Hot Wheels piece because you don't see many things like this. And I think for a lot of Hot Wheels collectors, it's just something different. If you don't have them, they're easy to get. I think you can go on eBay and find them fairly cheap. But if you want a unique piece in your Hot Wheels collection, you definitely want the BAT9, the Alfa Romeo, and add that to your Alfa Romeo collection. All right, 3 more. This is one I get to open because as I did my research, this was a no-brainer. Many of you mentioned it. And I realized that I used to have it, but at some point I think I sold it or gave it away or something. But I didn't have this one. This is another strange one. I don't know why we don't have the Hot Wheels Entertainment. This is the Zoolander 67 Ford Bronco. I have no idea why we have not seen this casting since it was released from the Zoolander set. But let's open this up. It's the old entertainment packaging, which I'm glad they got rid of and just went with standard premium packaging because it was kind of weird. But look at this thing. Total premium. We've seen some classic Broncos done by Hot Wheels before. They've done it in an overland style. I don't know if they've done it in a rally style, but this is one that just looks right. And especially with the newer Real Riders that they've been using on off-road cars, it just seems like this one would be great to be used in, I don't know, car culture in all kinds of ways. It just seems very clean, very cool, very much like how a Bronco would look when it was being restored. And with all the interest with the new Bronco, this one just seems like it'd be such an easy one to bring back and would be very popular in a car culture series. But it hasn't been. So that's one of the bigger mysteries is why we haven't seen that one ever since. But we haven't. And yeah, that's a big mystery. So is this one. The last two, I think, are the ones that I will say for a lot of you, there's a lot of cool stuff here. But these last two are so unique, so cool, so relevant to what Hot Wheels collectors are into these days that I'm totally shocked that we haven't seen future versions of this one. And one of them, it's been at least 12 or 13 years. But let's start with this one. This is the Acura NSX from Car Culture. It was one of the first mixes. I don't remember what mix it was, one of the racing mixes. And we've seen this casting in basic before. So you might say, no, we've seen it. It's the with this racing NSX. It was made in like the late 2000 aughts. There was like maybe 2007, 2008, which is true. But they modified this casting for Car Culture, gave it a much thicker, wider, more menacing chassis. And it looks fantastic. Now, anything looks good with Advent livery on it. And this black and white deco, or black and red deco, so cool. And the wheels work. I love how they did the lace wheels in the front and in the back with the nice thick tires on the back. But I don't know why we haven't seen this one, because A, it's JDM. B, it's a race car. C, it looks good. They've got that cool spoiler. It just seems like with like even the silhouettes, like the Liberty Walk R34 and everything else, this would be a very, very cool silhouette model that they could do. And yet we've only seen it once in car culture in the very first year that car culture came out. It just doesn't make any sense to me. There has to be another reason, because this car is super, super cool. And speaking of, let's go to the last one. I don't know why this model has come and gone, because it is cool. The car is cool. The replica is cool. And if you haven't seen this before, I think it was out in like 2000, I'm guessing around 13, maybe 12, maybe 11. It was done in 2 colors for basic, and we've never seen it again. This is the Mini Countryman Rally. Doesn't even have, it says Mini WRC on the bottom. That's all it says. But it is the Countryman. And look at this thing. First off, the deco's cool, but it's got the cool racing deco. If you look this car up, you'll see similar decos. But look at the casting. It didn't get the headlights, but it did get taillights. Look at that spoiler. I understand that maybe it can't make it back to basic because it has that separate spoiler piece. But between the roll cage on the inside, this really cool spoiler on the back, which is super unique, the way it sits, that nice low stance. So it's got this rally look, but it's got a racing kind of wide stance too that looks really good with these J5 wheels. It's just a really, really cool looking car. Do it in premium if you have to with this spoiler. It just seems like, I don't know why it's gone, but we haven't seen it forever, at least a decade, if not longer, and only one time. It seems like it would have been a logical model to return, and it was recolored in red, but they only released it in 2 colors. And I've thought I would see it since. We haven't. If you look up this car, like I said, with the cool spoiler, it's just a very cool, I'm not a big fan of minis, and some of you might be, some of you might not, but you have to think, minis or not, this is a really cool, nicely detailed for basic casting. And I think one that would be very popular if it were released today. Maybe it's a broken tool. Maybe Mini didn't like it. Maybe Hot Wheels didn't like it. Maybe, I don't know. But I think this is a very, very cool cast. And I'm glad we have 2 versions of it. My friend, I actually somehow got rid of mine. And my friend Brian, Bearded Mug Media, sent these to me so I could showcase them for you. But I think they are fantastic. But there you go. That is part 2. You guys tell me what you think. Definitely go down because you want those part 1. You want to be part of that part 1 giveaway. But you might seek these out too. I don't know if I'll do a giveaway on this part 2, but I know part 1 I will. But you guys tell me what you think. Which of these models? Some of them you might have them in your collection. Others you might go out and pursue. Tell me which ones are worth pursuing. Which ones you want or which ones you're happy to have in your collection. I think they're all interesting. Some of them, the big mystery is why we've never seen them again. I don't know if we'll ever get an answer. Or maybe they'll just reappear. You guys tell me what you think. Thanks, everybody. Bye.